Welcome back to the Ango Podcast. This week we are going to discuss Saturday morning cartoons. Don't give a shit if we get confused with normal cartoons, because we are old. Take us off, Bill or Mike.
Yeah, this is coming on the heels of our top 10 cereals to eat while watching Saturday morning cartoons list. So, just try to keep in mind, I think Chex was our number one. So it's Saturday morning, you just woke up, you got yourself a bowl of Chex, which you can put together now because you're a big boy. So you plop down at the TV. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was probably a big influence on all of our lives.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
No matter what your tastes were, there was a turtle to interest you.
I think that's why it did have universal appeal.
Yeah, there's I think on a Cracked podcast they kind of covered that, how each turtle was part of the four. I'm gonna ruin this. It's like the four
major personality types.
Yeah, there's four substances. It's like a theory about how bile, and everyone has a sensitive side. Everyone has kind of a reckless side. Everyone has a more intellectual side. I'm ruining it. I don't even remember.
Well, I was definitely more the rebel sort of rage, the red. Basically, it was Raphael for me.
Super sensitive.
Raphael was super sensitive?
Absolutely.
Oh,
definitely.
Okay. Which one were you, Bill? I'm pretty sure Leonardo was your main man.
Yeah, and blue was my favorite color, so as a kid, that was kind of a no-brainer. Although I did like Donatello quite a bit as well.
Yeah, Donatello and Mike had good chemistry. The intelligence and humor sort of interaction between the two, especially in the movies, came off quite well.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Pork rind?
Pork rind.
Kitchen?
Kitchen.
Yeah, the Donatello Mikey scenes were some of the best.
Obviously, I was a Michelangelo guy myself.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
Obviously.
You already have the name,
Exactly. Yeah, it's hard not to like.
Plus, I think you're kind of like Michelangelo, so it kind of worked out.
I could see that, yeah. Kind of childish, a little whimsical. Mm-hmm. But still gets the job done. Still available in a pinch.
I was going to say lightens the mood with hilarious comedy and hijinks, but all right.
Oh, I'm blushing.
Yeah, if we could find someone who identifies with Donatello, we could do the Ninja Turtle podcast.
Right.
Ooh, could we dress up?
We could.
We could. There's actually sort of a punk band here in Baltimore that does Ninja Turtle themed music.
Really?
Yeah. They're called Cowabunga Pizza Party. Or Cowabunga Pizza Time? I think it's Pizza Party.
Sounds kind of fun. Yeah. Man, I remember a couple years after I stopped watching Ninja Turtles, or probably after they stopped making it, they had those not spin-offs, but the new generation of turtles, where they had that girl turtle, and it was
June
3D animation.
They have a female in this band I was talking about who's named June, so I'm pretty sure it was June. But my recollection of the spin-off ain't that great. It wasn't that great either. It was the original one that I liked.
That'd be kind of lame if all the male Ninja Turtles are named after Renaissance, inventors and shit and artists, and then there's June. It's kind of messed up. I mean, I'm not very cultured, so maybe June was a Renaissance.
Well, it was
woman about town, I don't know.
It was Master Splinter who chose their name. Maybe whoever chose June's name wasn't as cultured.
True.
It's not
Valid
her
point.
fault. From what I remember, she was rather level-headed.
Just gotta be awkward. That's all I'm saying.
I never cared for the new animation at all. Pretty much across the board. I don't really like the cell shading that they went to, and I certainly don't like the CGI type of animation they do now.
Yeah, it's cheaper. That's why they do it. No one really likes it more. Sometimes it can be done well, but that's generally in an action oriented, and you need to have a really good team to pull that off.
It just doesn't seem as fun either. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I could see that. It's
It takes out the autistic flair, I believe.
Yeah. Shit, remember we used to have the Ninja Turtle days and drink the turtle juice and shit we came up with?
That was so nasty. Why did we ever drink it? Basically took the 4 colors, then added lime juice to it for the turtle in them.
Yeah. We had a whole Ninja Turtles club at school.
Yeah.
Practiced karate under the tree over there at BAC.
Yep. Beltsville Academic Center. We weren't no ordinary elementary school. We were special. Special ed sometimes, but it's besides the point.
My mom has gone on record as saying that she hates the Ninja Turtles because of all the injuries I sustained as a child trying to recreate the different Ninja Turtle scenes. These goddamn Ninja Turtles are going to kill my son, I think were her exact words.
What did you do?
Yeah, definitely pulled my groin doing karate kicks, which I still have scars from today, and then cracked my head open that time I tried to flip over a coffee table. Which, you know, mother's worst nightmare, get the call at work from the babysitter. We're driving Michael to the emergency room because he cracked his head open. It's gotta be terrifying.
Well, your favorite was Michelangelo, and he was rather the most adventurous of the 4.
You're goddamn right, Brian. I was role-playing.
I was waiting for you to nunchuck yourself in the face or something.
Or in the balls. Either one.
Yeah, with the balls, yeah. I'm a balls.
No, they're smart enough to never buy me nunchucks, no matter how much I asked.
I actually trained with Sais when I was in karate, and that was pretty cool. I'm like...
Oh, those things were like your prized possession. I remember when you got those.
Yes.
You're like, I'm actually Raphael now.
Sounds about right. I can't argue with that sentiment.
I'm like, I swear to God, Brian, you try to stab me with that thing.
The toys were the shit, too. The Ninja Turtles toys.
Oh, some of my favorites. I still have mine.
Nice. I had like that sewer. Remember that sewer setup?
Yep.
That was pretty neat.
And the Technodrome. Remember that?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Damn you rich kids. Your parents bought you that shit. I got
Fuck
maybe
yeah,
like
bro.
I maybe got 1 or 2 figures a year. Oh yeah, you were
I definitely bought those off of friends that wanted candy or something at the time.
Okay. You weren't rich, you just were a player.
They're like, I'm getting rid of this, and I'm like, yeah, let's make a deal, right?
My parents just loved me. They just bought me the shit, so I don't know. It's probably the divorce, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
2
Turned a lot of
Christmases.
that up.
Good point. Good point. You had a divorced family. I had a whole bunch of penny pinchers and used clothes from all my siblings. So, damn, they were sure penny pinchers. Talking about penny pinchers, segue to something else.
I was actually going to be very impressed if you managed to segue into something relevant there.
No, sorry, I'm not that good. I'm Raphael. He wasn't very creative, very angry, and able to get in a huff.
Sure. See, that's what I meant by the sensitive thing.
To reference our adaptations podcast, what did you think of the Ninja Turtles movie as an adaptation of the cartoon?
I don't think it was an adaptation, I can't say that word right now, of the movies. I think it was more a sort of real world mixed with the comic books, more so. The movies...
Well, it's still adapting from screen to big screen.
Yeah.
It was a fresh take, except for Corey Feldman, who was in everything at that age, but it was just a voice. Reagan-tastic.
I still really like the first movie. I think it holds up.
Yeah?
I don't like the new Michael Bay ones.
No.
The second one was better. The second Michael Bay one was better, but they still were not very good. I was pretty upset about them.
Michael Bay's the most overrated director. He ruined Transformers. He almost ruined Ninja Turtles. I just don't watch them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Michael Bay movie. Okay, take my money elsewhere.
The Rock was good.
Did he do The Rock?
Yeah, he did The Rock.
Did
Yeah.
Before he
Interesting.
got overbloated and be like, special effects everywhere.
Explosions. More explosions. Right?
I think he also did Bad Boys, which I always thought was kind of overrated.
Yeah. What about you, Brian? What was your favorite Saturday morning cartoon to eat with your checks?
I was more the sugary guy. I just said checks because it was one of my favorite lists. I was more into sugary. If you listen to that podcast, you'll find out these guys hated sugary cereals. But I will go with X-Men because that's the most memorable one. And I remember that being Saturday morning cartoons because I had Saturday morning school and I think my brother had to record X-Men for me to watch it because Sunday school was on Saturday, and that bummed me out a lot.
I remember that. I had the same deal going on in church.
Yeah, but your parents probably weren't as fervent as sending you to that Saturday school than mine because of the divorce.
Nah, yeah, it's hard to be a good Catholic when you're in the process of getting a divorce.
Yes, so I remember X-Men the most. It was the most realistic. It had some of the coolest characters. Again, they had a character for everyone. They even had more characters. They had female characters you could look up to. I personally went with the rogue character again, Gambit. You know.
I was expecting,
Does
based
it-
on your love of oatmeal and its transformative ability, I was expecting your favorite to be Morph.
Morph was a second favorite, but he was definitely one of the best characters. But sorry, I have to give it to Gambit. Probably because I liked
Sure.
his relationship with Rogue a lot. The sort of weird lovers. They couldn't touch each other, but yet they had this intense relationship with each other. I just found that more complex. I mean, I'm surprised you're not guessing Wolverine for me because of his anger and his simpatico with sort of the Raphael pick. But Wolverine was just, I think too many people were up his ass. He was too gruff. He was too foreign to my childlike mind for me to sympathize with. And Cyclops,
Sure.
I hate
Yeah,
all.
Wolverine was definitely my favorite character.
I hate all the leader types, but Cyclops was one of the biggest whiny bitches in the series. But
Kind of a tool.
I love to hate Cyclops.
I think everyone hated Cyclops after the Phoenix saga.
Yeah, he did get a little annoying.
But you love to hate him.
You yell Gene one more time.
Gene!
Oh, Wolverine did almost the same thing, but more broody. It was the love triangle between Jean, Wolverine, and Scott Summers, Cyclops.
See, looking back on it now, I kind of think that Cyclops got a bum rap. Because he was just, he was bequeathed this responsibility to try to keep the team together. Here comes this cigar-smoking, beer-drinking asshole hitting on his woman out of nowhere, now, obviously he was a bit of a douchebag sometimes, but I kind of get where he's coming from.
Why are we
It's the hipster in me.
focusing on the most boring characters? There's also Beast,
I was gonna say Beast. I think is my favorite,
and Morph. Morph probably would have became my favorite, except for they got rid of him real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say they killed him off, or they thought he was dead, but he was somewhere else or something, right?
really early on. Yeah,
He came
Yeah.
back a villain also. I mean,
Ah.
Yeah, you're right. He was like brainwashed by like Sinister or something, right?
I think he,
Sinister. Yeah, that was the vampire guy, right?
Yeah, I think so, or it looked like one
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, wore the cape and shit.
Mm-hmm. Man, can we talk about how dramatic the voice actor that did Storm was?
no, Storm is also another great one.
She
Yeah.
was a good character. Yeah.
Elements come to me. She was just like really, really dramatic with her delivery.
Well, she was raised as a goddess, so it fits that character.
Yeah, no, it fits for sure. I'm just saying. I went back and watched a couple episodes a few weeks ago, and really dramatic. I think Jubilee was the only character that they invented for the TV show.
Yeah,
And she was supposed to be like the main character that kids identified with or whatever.
audience surrogate.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't great.
Yeah.
What do you do? Shoot sparkly stuff.
Yeah,
I
Black
can
Cat was
blind
better.
people.
Black Cat was better in the X-Men movies. She was a little bit more relatable. It was just that's probably the only place that the movies did better than the 90s animated TV show is Black Cat. Was that her name? Or
I don't know. I don't remember Black Cat on the
Kitty
X-Men.
Pryde?
Oh,
Kitty Pryde.
It might have been.
Yeah.
It's something to do
Oh
with the
yeah.
cat, the movie.
The
Yeah,
one that
yeah,
could
yeah.
face through walls and
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
The lamer version of Nightcrawler.
Because she was in the old school cartoons, like the short film cartoons or whatever, before the TV show one.
Yeah, she had an established character, so I think it worked better in the movies than making up a character Jubilee.
And they had, what was it, Bedazzler or whatever. I forget what her name was,
Yeah.
but
The same thing.
yeah.
Bedazzler.
I
They
remember
kind
when
of retooled her for Jubilee.
I remember when we had our sort of knockoffs of superheroes. We had like Wolf Power as Wolverine,
Oh,
like
yeah.
a Batman knockoff. We had a girl in our group, and we gave her a character called Star Power, who was sort of like Jubilee and the Dazzler. And we were like, okay,
yeah.
you want that? Go ahead. Yours was Cyclone, which was Storm and Cyclops put together.
Yeah. I remember that.
I went with
'Cause I think we wrote that character for Jimmy's sister or something, wasn't it?
I went with
Or somebody.
the Batman Batman Magneto mix. He wasn't quite as powerful as Magneto. He mainly just formed metals into weapons and fought like Batman, or as his suit implied, was more like Black Panther. I liked the Black Panther suit very well. That was a badass suit, Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if that had a TV show. Black Panther, Saturday morning cartoons.
I think he was in an episode of Fantastic Four.
Yeah, but Fantastic Four wasn't that fantastic. I liked the Iron Man cartoon.
I forgot about the Iron Man cartoon.
That was awesome.
I didn't really catch that much. I feel like I would like it now, but I didn't get to see that. I remember seeing like 2 or 3 episodes, but not watching it consistently.
Yeah, that one was one of my favorite out of the superheroes. X-Men, then Iron Man. Well, sorry. X-Men, Batman, the animated
I was going to
series,
say Batman animated series, yeah.
then Iron Man.
Yeah. And Spider-Man, too. I watched
Oh,
Spider-Man.
yeah.
Of course, Spider-Man and X-Men were like back-to-back, if I remember right.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Keep forgetting all these. Yeah. Sorry, Spider-Man. Which one do you think was better? Batman, the animated series, or Spider-Man, the animated series?
Batman.
Yeah, I think there's no contest. I think Batman the Animated Series. I think Bill's gone on record as saying it's his favorite adaptation overall,
Yeah.
and I
think-
totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Hamill Joker in its prime.
Yeah, great voice acting. The atmosphere was perfect. They nailed it with
Yeah.
Batman the Animated Series. And I'm a big Spider-Man the Animated Series fan, but there's no contest.
Yeah,
I love the
whole,
dark tone they were able to get with the cartoon. Surprising, you know?
Yeah,
and still
for
make
sure.
it kid friendly.
And I feel like the villains had more depth in the cartoon, which is kind of shocking to me. Even going back and watching it, you know, Mr. Freeze and others, you know, Clayface, they had a lot more depth to their villains in the cartoon.
And
Yeah, you almost empathized with him.
Yeah.
And I think that's where probably the second favorite DC villain came in. Harley Quinn, I think, was created for the animated series.
Yep, she sure was.
And now she has a movie, which probably sucks.
So I'm a little out of the loop on that. Is the movie, because they had that one episode where like Harley Quinn teamed up with Poison Ivy? Is that what the movie is?
No,
I feel like they're kind of going for that feel, but no, I don't think she's part of it. I
They're-
don't think
they're-
Poison Ivy's part of it.
Poison, I've researched it because I thought about maybe seeing it or doing a video on it on my other channel, but it's not worth it. The screenwriter of the movie has done some stupid movies. The director, some Chinese, only has one film called Dead Pigs or something. I heard reviews. The acting sounds good, but they say no character development, all plot, and the plot isn't worth getting invested in. So they say all the actors do a good job of playing the character, especially Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, but it's rather lackluster.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, DC's been pretty bad here lately with their most of their films.
Yeah, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, I think, is their only two fairly successful DC movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame because their animated work is usually it's funny because like
Better than
DC has all
Marvel.
the best animated stuff, yeah, and Marvel has the best live action stuff.
Because there was also Superman, right? Adventures of Superman, and then they got linked together when they got syndicated, right?
Yeah.
Because they were like back to back. It was like Batman animated series and then Adventures of Superman like together.
I had like my mom's friend's kid had a lot of really neat Batman toys, and I think they got really good when Superman Batman collaborated or whatever. They put them in the same show.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention The Tick since we're talking about superhero shows of yesteryear.
Oh yeah, The Tick.
Big fan, little zany. Couldn't
I
really get into the. Go ahead.
I liked Freakazoid better as sort of a weird superhero version.
Sure, yeah, big fan of Freakazoid too.
I just thought the Tick was a little bit stupider than Freakazoid and less zany. I liked it overall. It's just compared to stuff like Freakazoid, and there were some other comedic superhero weird things that I thought were okay. But Freakazoid is above Tick for me.
Yeah, I think there's a case to be made there. The Freakazoid knew what he was doing a little more. The Tick was just kind of more oafish and just kind of fell ass backwards into
What
situations.
about, there's also Mask, the animated series, but never
yeah.
quite. It was probably a rung below the Tick. Maybe several rungs below the Tick.
So let's talk more about, because there were a bunch of those cartoons converted from movies. You had Mask, you had Men in Black. I feel like I'm forgetting a bunch. As soon as I suggested Beetlejuice, yeah. Starship Troopers was...
Really? Starship Troopers?
Yeah, it was one of those things. It mainly came on at like... No one ever watched it because it came on at like, 9 o'clock in the morning on weekdays on UPN or something, so everyone was in school already. But I remember being home sick and watching it a few times. It was all right. It was like kind of in the same vein as Beast Wars, one of those CGI based cartoons.
The only one I can remember being anywhat good was Beetlejuice. Unless you can jog my memory, none of those were really that good. As I said, Mask, not good anime.
Yeah, Men in Black was all right.
Yeah, I liked Men in Black.
Wasn't for me, but
Beetlejuice probably was the best out of them.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
well, let's talk about, since he brought up Starship Troopers, let's go back to one of our favorite lost gems, Exo Squad.
I was just about to say Exo Squad, yeah. It's one of my favorites.
You have a better memory than me, so you go on with it.
I'm still mad to this day that they built it all the way up, like, they had this long story arc, built it up to this cliffhanger, and then the show got canceled, like, mid-season, and they never finished it.
I wonder why they did that. Maybe...
I don't know, this ratings thing, or I don't know what the hell it was.
Maybe it was too progressive.
I went to even look to see if maybe it was on DVD somewhere or released in another country, and apparently they just never finished the series. They just left it right before Large Battle.
It also could have been a copyright issue.
That would make sense because it was hugely popular. Mm-hmm. And the toys alone, which is where a lot of these companies make their money on stuff like that, were insanely popular. They were fucking everywhere.
They were really cool. I still have a couple of them. The level of detail was freaking awesome. They had the little wire that would jack into the back of their head,
Oh, sure.
Even the toy had that little plastic wire that would like pull out and put in. You put it in the back of the little figurine. So like fired missiles and that kind of stuff. So I always thought those were really cool.
Well, maybe because it was too much of an allegory. This was back in the day where there was some censorship still, because it was basically a slave race revolting on their masters.
Yeah.
But if it copyright,
the Neo Sapiens or whatever. Yeah.
It reminded me a little of a better version of Battlestar Galactica, because I could never get into that one sci-fi series, but it reminded me humans create a superior race, but keeps them enslaved, so they rebel.
Yeah.
The one, what was it? Neo Sapiens, you said?
Neo Sapiens.
The
if I
one that
remember
was
right, yeah.
the one that was part of their team was really cool. He had the dual one.
And there was then there was like I think a second type or something, like an upgraded version or something that was like more intelligent or something.
I think the Neo Sapiens created a newer version towards the later.
Yeah.
But I don't think they did anything with them, or they just started doing something. So it's not on DVD or internet anywhere?
I think you can get the series, on DVD, but I don't think they ever finished it, to my knowledge.
Damn it! They might have book version. They might have comic book versions. We should look for that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, what happened in this battle?
In the day and age of all these reboots, I'm really surprised that Exo Squad has not come up for a reboot.
Yeah. Speaking of which, what about Reboot?
Oh yeah, good segue.
Yeah.
It was good, but the remake was crap.
Yeah, I haven't heard good things.
They tried to reboot that. They had kids from the real world. No, bad. Original reboot was fun. The language was awesome. Concept was just unique, okay? It wasn't saving the world. I mean, they were trying to save their world.
Yeah.
But in context, it was quite interesting. Did they even have the internet in that series? I think they had it, but it was very limited.
Yeah, because it was mostly like
dial-up
games,
modems,
right?
Yeah.
Because that was the deal. Was the player would load an incoming game and they would all get trapped in it and that kind of thing.
It was definitely better than Tron. Tron was a incredibly ambitious movie, which sort of was hard to watch.
Yeah.
It has memeable moments that the weird
the light cycles
was quite interesting, but overall the film was
I think Reboot was probably at the very least the best looking of all those digital cartoons of that era.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I wonder if it holds up. I haven't seen it in forever.
That reminds me, Beast Wars. Transformers as a whole was awesome, but I'm pretty sure Beast Wars was the same style as Reboot. They used the same animation style.
Close to it, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to love Beast Wars too.
Yeah, it was the best Transformers somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how they pulled that off. Original Transformers was really hokey, especially with the kid stand-ins, but you get around to Beast Wars and you really focused on the character.
No, I was gonna say I think that's because they started to put the season-long story arcs and stuff, so you followed the characters a lot more.
Yeah, I remember all of them being pretty unique. The only one that I really remember, the lead guy was the ape, right? Whose name I don't remember, and then I remember the cheetah guy being like the cool one.
Yeah, he was the Bumblebee. Analog, I guess?
Yeah.
Because the movies ruined Bumblebee. Not be able to talk? Wasn't Bumblebee always the smart Alec? Or am I remembering someone else?
No, I feel like you're right. I mean, I don't remember them that well, but I found it a little odd that he couldn't talk in all the movies.
I kind of liked the, how he would have to communicate through bits, sound bits from the radio.
It was cool for a bit, but it's also Michael Bay.
Although the newest one, the standalone Bumblebee, was actually, I think, a lot better.
I've heard great things, yeah.
Oh, well, I think that's actually the Birds of Prey wrote that movie.
Oh, okay. Well, because it's not a Michael Bay film. It's not directed by Michael Bay, the standalone Bumblebee, and it was actually, I liked it. I had fun watching it. I think it was a lot closer to the 80s,
Well,
80s feel that I think people were looking for out of Transformers.
well, maybe you would like Birds of Prey then. I'm pretty sure it's the same screenwriter.
Oh, okay.
That's the only thing that I saw in her credits that looked like it might be right for this type of film.
Yeah.
But I saw a Transformers spin-off script and just wrote it off. Interesting.
If it wasn't for John Cena, I think that it actually would have been an all-around good film. But he definitely, to me, drags it down quite a bit. But I liked it a lot better than the Michael Bay versions.
Yeah, I think in general, John Cena tries a little too hard.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because I've liked some of this stuff that he's done. I think he did a guest spot on SNL that was pretty good, but I just think he just tries a little too hard.
Yeah, it just came off too weird and campy.
He's no
Yeah.
Rock.
He's no Batista.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You guys love for Batista.
He's a good actor,
Fuck yeah.
man.
He is a good actor.
Surprisingly.
I can only remember him from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, which I think he did a great job in.
Yeah.
Imagine if they made that into a cartoon.
That would actually make a really good cartoon, Guardians of
Yeah.
the Galaxy. Like in true 90s fashion, you know, zany plots, and in my head I imagine it. Remember the Back to the Future cartoon?
Yeah, it was okay.
In my head it would be animated similarly to that. There's some cool toys from the Back to the Future cartoon too. I remember like a line of McDonald's toys that were pretty good with like the train and shit.
What was the, like, I guess most off-the-wall or forgotten cartoon you used to like?
Eat the Cat.
That's a good
Or
question.
Bobby's
Sure.
World.
Bobby's World, yeah.
Yeah, Bobby's World was pretty mainstream though, I think.
I think we talked about this before, the Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
Cowboys of Moo Mesa, yeah. To get hyped, I listened to a bunch of theme songs today, and Cowboys of Moo Mesa was one of them.
Yeah.
I remember
kinda
it
had the
being
same-
good, but also Biker
Biker from Mars, baby!
Yep. Thank
Yeah.
you, Mike. My brain
No problem.
stuttered there. But
That was a fun one, because it was like a true sci-fi cartoon. Oh, Bucky? The
Bucky
the rabbit or
O'Hare.
whatever?
Bucky O'Hare. Yeah. I really like that one.
Yeah, I went through a year where I was really into Bucky O'Hare.
But this is all making me remember probably one of the best not known to me beforehand Gargoyles.
Oh, yeah.
That
yeah,
was
actually
probably
just
the
started
best.
Watching that.
Yeah, that was an excellent series. I mean, I like Darkwing Duck, but that was a joke. Like Batman parody of Disney, but Gargoyles was probably the only thing in my mind that compared to Batman, the animated series.
I was just about to say that it had almost the same feel as Batman. It struck that same like dark feel.
It also had
Very
the
broody.
it also had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vibe. They had that detective chick who found the gargoyles. It was sort of an
yeah.
April O'Neil
Yeah.
situation, and
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
that was the one time where I actually liked the leader in a series. Okay, what was his name?
I remember Brooklyn, but I think that was the red guy.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah.
He was cool.
He was the sort of typical Raph Red character. Then they had the
Then they
meek
had the-
smart one. I forget his name.
And then there was the fat one that was always eating all the time. Was the green one.
Yeah, he was like fat with little tiny wings,
Yeah. Yeah.
ironically.
Because there was one that looked like Krillin from Dragon Ball.
Yeah, that was the sort of
Little smart one.
smart,
yeah.
weak
yeah.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that whole thing. I mean, they even got into the Avalon series, which I found amazingly fantastic. There was a robot gargoyle towards the end that was a little weird, but it started getting really crazy towards the end. So that's probably why they ended it. But I still would have enjoyed it if they could have gotten it back on track.
So what about Saturday morning cartoons that weren't cartoons? Your Saved by the Bells, your Power Rangers Ninja series or whatever.
Saved by the Bell, typical, not quite understand, but still would laugh at it. Wrestling was where it was at. Because as I said, my Saturday school basically left me. I would come back, find a few crappy cartoons, then it was on to wrestling.
Sure. Yeah, I was a wrestling fan myself. Maybe not in the Saturday morning era, but like later with Monday Night Raw and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what got me into it later, but I soon came out of it before I even got out of high school.
Sure, yeah, no, I don't think I was into wrestling by the time I hit 8th grade.
I think I got out of it when pretty much The Rock was coming in,
Okay, sure.
that era. It's not that I didn't like The Rock, it just
Yeah, no, that's when
I like the era of
moved
the
on.
crazy characters. It started becoming really generic, Triple H, The Rock. None of them had gimmicks that really appealed to me. My favorite was The Undertaker and Mankind.
Sure. And Paul Bearer, remember Paul Bearer? I was actually legitimately afraid of Paul Bearer.
Oh,
Because he just
Kane.
looked so fucking creepy.
Kane also. Most
Yeah.
most people don't remember Kane. He was basically like similar to
Yeah.
Undertaker, but
Yeah, it's like the Undertaker's brother with the mask. And
Yep.
The Hellspawn! Oh, God!
Pretty
Ooh, and we got to talk about good old JR, the announcer. He was fucking incredible.
yeah,
Good
definitely
old-fashioned
kid
barn
tune.
burner.
Definitely kid tune.
Yeah, what else? Saturday morning cartoons. I mean, obviously, I always knew it was over when there was that political show that would come on like right after Saturday morning cartoons. I remember being so pissed once that came on because it's like, oh fuck, now I gotta go, mow the lawn or whatever.
End of an era.
I did a little reading on why Saturday morning cartoons are no longer really a thing, and apparently part of it is in the '90s they passed a law where, all cartoons have to have a certain amount of educational merit, which is why
Really?
which is why you'll hear factoids in. I feel like Schrodinger's cat comes up in a lot of cartoons because it's kind of an easy concept to communicate in a short amount of time,
Hmm.
But yeah, stuff like that. So they had to like start pulling shows from the Saturday morning lineup, which is kind of interesting.
Fuck.
I mean, there's more to it than
regulations.
that, but-
I swear they do more harm than good. Regulations
Yeah.
in general, just fuck over the everyday man. I swear.
Yeah, sometimes, not always.
Or
though.
everyday kid in this case. I mean, yeah, it's good to have education, but when you go to school 5 days a week, you don't want to be taught in your entertainment. That's sort of a dumb ass law that probably some parent organization pushed into practice because parents
yeah.
can't be responsible for their own kids. They have to shove them off in front of the TV and be like, "Yeah, learn from the TV also."
Yeah,
That's
exactly. I was
bullshit, in my
I was gonna say
opinion.
the same thing. Like, parents can't. It's like them acknowledging that. Nah, we're just gonna plop our kids down in front of the TV, but there better be some educational stuff on that TV. Because they got to learn somehow.
Teach them.
Kind of ridiculous. I think we may have talked about this before. Digimon versus Pokemon. I'm on the
Of course,
Digimon
that
side of the
old battle.
fence.
I'm on Digimon, although I like the storyline. I wasn't into either one really much, but Digimon caught my interest more. They had more variations also.
Yeah, I didn't really watch either one religiously or anything. I remember liking Digimon to a certain point, and then it lost me, and then I liked
Sure.
Pokemon longer, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. I'm kind of right there with you.
I
The
like the
storyline.
games. I like the games. Pokemon never tried a
Well,
Digimon
yeah.
game.
I don't even know if they had Digimon games, did
They
they?
tried. They weren't very good, from what I know.
Man, those were the days, those Saturday morning cartoons. A simpler time.
Well, Mike, it seems like this podcast has come to an end. Do you want to sign us out?
Well, we appreciate you tuning in to watch us be nostalgic for roughly 40 minutes. Don't forget to tell us how neglected your childhood is because we didn't mention your favorite in the comments section. And we will see you next time.